I'm Melissa Shanahan, and this is the Law Firm Owner Podcast, episode number 267. Welcome to the Law Firm Owner Podcast, powered by Velocity Work, for owners who want to grow a firm that gives them the life they want. Get crystal clear on where you're going, take planning seriously, and honor your plan like a pro. This is the work that creates velocity. Welcome to this week's episode, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is a special episode because we are celebrating our 5th year as a podcast. That blows my mind. I cannot believe we're at year 5. I can't believe I've been doing this once a week for 5 years straight. That has been no small feat, let me just say. But it has been such a joy to do this every week and bring you guys content and try to share the best of what we are learning and knowing inside of Velocity Work. And it's a moment to pause and celebrate. So 5 years, which actually I think the exact date will be August 6th, which is right around the corner. But there are a few things to celebrate right alongside this 5-year anniversary of the podcast. And so we're going to use this opportunity to share those celebrations. Some of it, I think for you guys as listeners, it's important for us to share because it's all good stuff that you all should know about that is happening behind the scenes here. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. So the first celebration, of course, is the 5-year anniversary of the podcast. And the second one is the fact that we have a COO at Velocity Work, and she is also a facilitator for our company. And we are so lucky to have her. She has been here for over a year, but this is really our first introduction publicly with her to the world. So, Giselle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so thrilled that you're here as well for so many reasons, which we'll get into in a moment. But I thought, what an opportunity for us to present Giselle to you and to the world by having a little bit of a conversation and having Giselle as a part of this celebratory podcast on some things that are going on. So yeah, just really stoked to have you here.
Thank you. And I'm so happy to spend this time with you and informing everyone about all the things we're celebrating today.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Giselle Urbina has been with our company since May of 2023, and things have evolved over time, and there's been so much development since you've been here. It's been a really exciting year, a shape-shifting year, having you inside of the company. And so I would love to share more about you, about the work that you're doing, and give people just an understanding of what is going on here behind the scenes, because I am sort of face first. I'm face out into the world for this company, but we have such an awesome team right now, and we have for the last year, and you have been a huge part of that. I definitely will give you a chance to say more about how we got here. The history of how Giselle and I met. Giselle and I met about 4 years ago. And she was the COO, which actually there's an evolution to that, like your role at that firm. But she was a very key player at the firm and was really doing all the COO things, but didn't really have that title. And through the growth with her and through the firm and the development that we did, she really stepped into that role and owned it. And when I say owned it like no one I have witnessed before. In terms of private clients, the way that you owned it was so impressive and really stuck with me long before you and I had a conversation about anything to do with you working at Velocity Work. So I don't know if you have anything you want to share about 4 years ago or.
Yes, so definitely. And I've told you this before. Honestly, it was thanks to you. Like you pushed me in the right way to be able to own that seat. It was very scary to do it. I had a lot of doubt, self-doubt and confidence issues regarding that, even though I was actually doing all the work that I needed to be doing to be in that seat. I just didn't believe it. And Velocity worked with me to get there. And I'm so thankful because that really changed so much. And I'm very happy about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, it was awesome to work with you. And over the years, I mean, and you know what's funny? You're saying that, and people can listen to, there was an episode you were on the podcast back then. And really, after you came to embrace the title of COO and the role and, making small shifts, but you had all of the skill sets. It was all there to such a degree that was so powerful for the seat you were in and for the firm, for the team and development. It was everything. The only thing that was missing was the fact that it was like you almost needed permission to be COO. You hadn't been a COO before, but you had had all of the things that you were supposed to be doing as a COO. You had been practicing that for years and years and years at Coca-Cola, the company first, and then at the law firm. So what a cool journey to see. Like I said, I think the main takeaway there is you said that we really helped you come into your own with that role, and maybe a bit from the skill set perspective, but not really. It was more the confidence and ability to own it.
Yes, and that's super important because I mean, I've seen it in our own clients how they fear owning certain things in their own firms. It is just not easy. It's not something you're taught. It's something that I guess with time and coaching or facilitation and, self-improvement comes, right? But there's no timeline to do that. So to me, it took me a while. And yeah, if you hear back that episode, you see the struggle that I was going through, like you can hear it. And I recently heard that episode and I was like, everything I said, I felt, and it was 100% accurate. Like it was same, like the feelings I had and how I feel now is so much different.
Mm,
And I'm just grateful for it.
yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. For anyone who wants to listen to the episode, we'll make sure that that's in the show notes so you can go back and listen to that. But I will say there was a point, and it was 2022. And then certainly when we crossed over into 2023, you were very drawn to the idea of teaching everything that you had implemented and everything that goes with being COO. You had a passion and a draw to teach that to other people. You were starting to solidify the idea more and more because it was really a business idea. It was going to be different, totally separate from the firm. And I knew that that was a passion of yours. I could see how great you would be at it. And there was a point where you asked for some help from me with thinking through setting up that business and the structure of it, how it would be laid out, the order that you would tackle things, how to package it up. Like we got in a room for a day and hashed a bunch of stuff out. And I basically just tried to pull out of your brain all the things that felt like you wanted to teach and get it into something really coherent that you could start to work with. And I knew when I was facilitating that, I was like, gosh, this is something I'm never going to develop for our company. This is not my forte. I mostly at that point was working with Velocity Work, was working with owners and their leadership teams about clarity and direction and execution just at that high level. I was not involved with the teams at all, not one iota, except for the leadership team themselves. But the work you were doing really was focused on the rest of the team and getting everybody rowing in the same direction and making your team work cohesively to reach the goals and the vision that the owners and the leadership team had set. And so to me, it was like, man, that would be so awesome. And I don't know, we just, life is busy. You kept working on that. I kept working in the business. And then it wasn't until 3 or 4 months later that the dots in my mind had connected enough to basically get on one knee and propose to you to come and stop doing what you were doing. Like, don't build that company. Come here. Like, just come over here. And I really had to sell that because, I wasn't sure exactly what you were looking for, but I knew how much I enjoyed working with you. I knew the value that you bring to humans and to law firms and could bring to law firms. And I could not think of anyone else that I'd ever met. And I mean this, that I wanted to work alongside. And I sat with this for a long time before I presented it to you. I talked to my husband about it. And really, it was like, ask, like, just go for it. Put yourself out there and go for it. And to my delight, You were stoked.
Said yes.
You said yes. Yeah, exactly. I do want to make it clear so that everybody understands you were doing this. What was happening for you with the firm and this new business you wanted to develop? Like, I didn't poach you from the firm. I want to make that super clear. I have zero interest in doing that. So, for anyone listening, there was so much transition for Giselle and what she was focused on and what made sense. That is the only reason I felt comfortable asking that. It wasn't to say, hey, stop working at the firm. That was already shifting. It was more, I wanted to take you from like doing all the work that it takes to lift a business off the ground and like just come and do it for our people and let's build this over here. So, yeah, if you want to share a little bit about where your head was or if you were surprised or if you weren't, I don't know. Maybe that's fun for people to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to start with when you came in that day to do that training, not training, but facilitation with me. I think that really sold me on the fact that everyone needs facilitation whenever it comes to their own things. In my case, it was not a law firm, it was a business completely different from a law firm. But the fact that I was the creator of that material, the fact that I was there, like in it every day, all the time, it was really, really difficult for me to put it together, to really think through all the things that you have to think through. Because you are so into the material and so into, I just want to teach, just like lawyers. I just want to, go to court or I just want to do the legal stuff, right? So I was so into it that I truly like that was the best investment I could have done for myself, for my sanity, because I was like, I have this awesome idea. Like, I know it will be helpful, but I have no idea how to put it together. And if I cannot get it out of my head, then it's pointless. It's no worth it? So the fact that you came in and you helped me take all of that out of my head, put it in paper. We used a board, we drew, we came up with a name for the company, we came up with packages, like all these things really helped me understand what was in my head and I was flustered about it and it gave me direction and purpose and that was like the first thing that I was like wow, I already knew that the work velocity work did was impressive and was amazing because again I was with you before, but that day was when I realized, okay, no, definitely, this is something everybody needs. And the fact that focus in lawyers, that's even better in the sense that, you have all this expertise around that and you can be even more helpful in that sense. Like you have all the things, you've seen it all. So I feel like that gives you like a better opportunity to help people that way. So that to me was the first thing that I was like, okay, this is definitely something that I love. I think it's amazing the work she does. And then when you came with with the proposal idea of working together, even though obviously I thought about it for a little bit, I was like, yes, I feel like this is something that will add value to what you're doing already. It will help people, which is something that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about teaching and I'm passionate about helping others. And, doing it with something that I love, that's like, what else can I ask for? And working with you has been such an amazing experience. And I feel like there's so much to learn from you. And I was like, okay, this is like the perfect chance for me to do what I love, do it with someone that I respect and I admire and help other people. So that's why I said yes.
That was so fun. And for everybody listening, I was so not cool when I asked. My husband said, "Be cool. Like, get your shit together, sit down, like, be cool." So I remember. I don't remember the specifics. God, I wonder if that was recorded. Who knows? But that call was a Zoom call. I sat down. Our cameras were on. I was like, "Hi," and then I just realized, okay, well, I need a minute, and so I had to ask for a minute. I put my mute and turned off my camera, and I was like, I just took a deep breath. I mean, I took that really seriously that I was going to talk to you about this and I wanted to do it. I feel like there's one shot you get with this, really. You know, you're a very understanding person, so maybe that's not true, but it felt very important that I present this well and right. and responsibly and not trying to be too cool. Like my husband wasn't saying be too cool, like just be calm and collected is kind of what my husband meant. And I had a hard time doing that. And so anyway, I remember finally I got myself back on and it wasn't the smoothest, but it was smoother than I thought it was going to be. And then it was like your turn to talk. And of course, you wanted to take some space to think about it. But the response that I could feel from your openness in the like, I think you said I'm so like honored or flattered or something that I brought this up. And I thought, oh, this is a good sign. And then I was in Atlanta shortly after that, had dinner with you. And that's when it was like, yep, let's go. And we haven't looked back. It's been a
No,
pretty cool ride.
it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I've said this before. Obviously, we work a lot. There's a lot going on, and you guys are going to hear about all the things that we have coming up. But when you work with such an amazing team and such an amazing boss, it's like I feel grateful and happy to wake up and start doing what I do. It doesn't mean it's easier. It doesn't mean that I'm just doing really easy things every day. No, like there's things that are difficult. There's difficult conversations. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, but I don't know. I just feel like I have my dream job and it took me a long time to find it.
Oh gosh,
So I'm happy.
that makes my heart so happy. I agree. We have the best team and you are such an integral part of that. People got to meet Mika on the podcast a few months ago, I guess now, and she's amazing. The three of us work really closely together in terms of leadership. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for it. Yeah. Also, a perk, everybody, is that Giselle handles certain things in the company. So there's times where private clients, especially, and again, you'll hear more about how this works, but private clients have a location to choose from in many instances. So before it was Denver, and if I was going to travel, there was an extra travel fee. And that's still true. If we have to travel to the client, there's a travel fee associated. But now we have it at a location that's closer to East Coast, which is easier for people to, get to even fly in, fly out the same day should they need to. That's been pretty cool to have that as an option for certain clients. So that was another perk, for certain kinds of work. Man, okay. Well, maybe we should talk about some of the deepest work that you've done inside of the company. Giselle predominantly in the last year has worked with private clients. And I have been handling up till this point strategic planning, which is really the higher level, firm focused. What are we aiming for? What do we need to do in order to get there? And then making sure execution happens and we have support for that. And it's a partnership, I would say. Like that's, and Giselle, I know you agree. We've had a lot of conversations about this. We are partners with our private clients and we keep finding new ways to show up better and better to act as a partner for them. And that feels really good. And what has happened since Giselle has come on, she works with private clients in between their strategic planning retreats and it's tailored to them. So what we have developed is something we call modules. Modules are essentially a day. The only reason we don't call them trainings is because a training to me happens in a day. But this is more than that. So there's one day that's a deep dive, roll up your sleeves and work with the client and help them produce outcomes that day. It's not just passive learning. It's like we're going to dig in and we're going to get stuff done. And in that day, before the day, there's prep that we help with, and there's post module support that we help with. So it's not just the day, it's sort of this packaged, topic focused product that will help people have essentially a before and after story within that realm, whatever it is. I'm going to give some examples of some of the names of the module, and then we'll give some stories about like what it's looked like before and after. But do you have anything you want to add before I share some of the topics that the module titles, so to speak?
Yeah, no, so I think that this has been a great addition to the private clients because sometimes during the retreats, there's a lot that comes out of it. These modules have helped with the implementation of those things that come out of the retreats that sometimes they don't have the time, the structure, or even the people to help them implement these things. And these modules help with that. So that's been great.
Yeah, we have a book. It's a beautiful printed book that we now have as a firm. But the some of the titles of the modules are people and performance, effective operational leadership, internal audit strategy, financial mastery accelerator, leadership team development, new talent, onboarding and integration, efficiency and streamlining, a sustainable pricing blueprint. And then there's tracks, and there's more. That's not all of them, but that's just to give you a gist of what we dig in. And there's a before and after story with each of those topics. Well, we'll give some stories in a second. But what I was going to say is people put together for private, we put together these tracks. So maybe there is 3 kind of put together. They have one every quarter. And by the end of it, there will be a overarching result produced. So we have COO development track, HR development track, et cetera. So Giselle, give us some examples of before and after that you've witnessed or that you've heard from clients so that people can kind of wrap their heads around what it might look like to experience a module.
Absolutely. And this is my favorite part, the stories, right? If we're being helpful, that's really what matters to me the most. And actually, today I had feedback from one of our clients who were doing the transfer of responsibilities from the CEO to the COO. That's a huge thing because sometimes the CEO, understandably so, holds a lot of the operations side because as a small business, as you grow, you will own a lot of the operations, right? But as you grow, then you hire someone who's going to help you with that. And that transfer of responsibility takes time, training, confidence, so many things. And today we had one of those post module calls, and this person was telling me that how grateful she was that we did this, that she has clarity, that she was thankful for all the things that she learned from the module, and that if it wasn't for that module, she wouldn't be where she is. She wouldn't be as organized. She wouldn't understand her duties and responsibilities. She wouldn't understand the processes she needed to develop and teach her other employees in order for her job to get done, because she was a lot in the weeds, like doing a lot of the little things. And I helped her understand, you are the COO. You cannot be doing this little task. You need to learn how to delegate. But delegation is really, really hard. So how do we do that? So we make sure that we attain to that, right? And help her, guide her through that delegation process. Just not say, hey, just delegate. I actually went deep with her into the problems of why she wasn't okay delegating. And we fixed those problems in order for her to be able to do the delegation easier. So that's one of the coolest and I mean most fresh examples that I have.
Mhm. I will say, I know who you're talking about with that. The other thing I know for sure is that what I've witnessed there is that this person actually understands in their role how to create results in their role, not just do things, how to move the needle so that it's not all on the owner's shoulders. And no one wanted that in this scenario. But there was a gap in understanding and a gap in learning and how to actually step into the COO role. And so naturally it was being left on the owner's shoulders, even though nobody wanted that. Everybody wanted the shift to happen. But having that module that you had with them, there was prep, there was the module, and then there's post support. And that's what you were on today, right? The post call for the module. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm hoping people can see there's a before and after there. There's a before story and there's an after story. And the module is what they used to bridge the gap for themselves. Let's give a couple other, even one other example of a before and after to paint a picture for people.
Yeah, I think the other one that was very impactful for me was the financial mastery accelerator program or module that we have. In this one, we help the owner create a budget and really understand how much they spend annually and where is the money going to. And in this particular event, we did it in February with one of our private clients. And like it was so frustrating for her to get this done because the first thing, she had no idea of how much money was really being spent at the firm. She would try to get information from people that were supposed to know this information, like her bookkeeper, her accountant, her executive assistant. Nobody knew anything. They were they were not properly trained, and if they were, they were not doing their things the right way. So I remember her frustration. It was tough. It was a tough day because I mean, we didn't cry because it was like, okay, we need to get through it because she was really frustrated. But it brought to the surface issues, like real deep issues in her firm that needed to be addressed, that were not being addressed, and that were causing problems in other areas. So through this day, she was able to address those issues, like at least identify them and go back to the firm and fix them. And she was able to leave the module with, okay, this is how much money our office spends. Each department, this is how much each department costs to the firm. This is how much we're spending in people, in benefits, in all this stuff, in salaries, in taxes. Like we went and we literally calculated to the cent. And it just opened up her eyes. And I feel like after that, she was more confident in making decisions at the data and the reality rather than guessing what she could or could not afford.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's like everybody sort of knew, like she knew, not, I'm saying sort of. I mean, she's a private client. She knew what her expenses were, like the top line expenses, right? And she knew that that number needed to change or the percentage of revenue that was being spent on expenses, like something needed to shift, either more revenue or less expenses, maybe both. But not until you had that module was she able to see it all so clearly. There was not a question about what the next steps were once you guys dug in. And that is freedom. I mean, that level of digging in, that, let's be honest, the level of frustration that she was experiencing that day, that would have prevented her from finishing the job on her own. And you being there and guiding and saying, nope, we're filling out this. There's a whole spreadsheet that comes with that accelerator. So there's a whole spreadsheet. That, nope, we're going to finish this. And then that is the very thing you forced, not you, but the module forces the owner and a key team member, if they choose to confront real holes. And like you said, it surfaced issues that were so deep and affecting so many things that were kind of flying under the radar. And this just all brought it out. And now she's in such a much better place. She's saving
Yeah.
for a building. She's probably going to buy a building this year. Like there's all these things that are happening that would not have been on the table had she not woken up to all this. So it's a before and after. Yeah. Oh my gosh, we have other ones, but I feel like we need to keep cruising. So for anyone who's interested in modules and learning about what we have to offer and all of that, you can always go schedule a consult with us to figure out if what we're up to is a right fit for you. I'll say more about that at the end, but it'll be in the show notes. You can go to our website, etc. Well, let's keep moving on with the celebrations. Next up, we have Mastery Group, which is opening for enrollment on August 7th. And Mastery Group is our core program for law firm owners who have a firm doing under $1 million in top line revenue and are really looking to just get it together, pull it together, get more intentional, and experience progress towards their version of success. This program, which includes really solid planning about your year and your quarter with accountability and support in between. And that's just helping owners get clear on what they're aiming for, their numbers, their data, so that they can make really informed decisions based on facts and not feelings about everything, about their services that they offer, about the people that work for them, about their budget, about what systems and processes should go next in the firm. It provides a lot of clarity. So that is opening on August 7th, which is just around the corner. And that is very exciting. So if you are interested in learning more about that, you can go get yourself on the wait list at velocitywork.com/join and or schedule a consult, see if that is a right fit for you. Another thing worth celebrating is that we have this program inside of Velocity Work called Syndicate. Syndicate is not available to the public. However, we have made some pivotal changes to the program. We ran it last year. We are absolutely offering it again this year, but you have to have been in Mastery Group first. This is for people that really, they understand the flow that we provide inside of Velocity Work, and they have excelled. They have to be doing more than $500,000 a year in top line revenue. And that could be up, like we have people upwards of $1 million in that group. And it is more like, you could think of it more like a team. You are on a team. And I say that, but the cool thing is that this program is really meant to be a hybrid between a group and a private client experience. So we have a lot that's a part of it that meets people where they are, just like we would do with a private client. And so we're celebrating the real leveling up of that program. And we're very excited to have the next round, this next cohort go through Syndicate, which is a year-long program, and applications for that will be August and September. And so Syndicate, if you're interested in that and you're listening and you're not involved in velocity work, the first step is to get involved with Mastery Group. And once you're there, we can help you figure out if it is a right fit and help you get prepared to apply and join Syndicate. So if you want to learn more, we would welcome that opportunity, and you could do that through a consult. Between Mastery Group and Syndicate, Giselle, is there anything you want to add about those two programs, or do you have any favorite elements of them?
They're great. I think that both of them have really cool elements that I feel like people will be able to benefit from.
Mhm.
I do enjoy a lot the closeness of the group in Syndicate.
Mhm.
I feel like if people start a mastery group, definitely will be a good thing to eventually think about joining Syndicate. It's totally worth it. And the things that we're changing this year, it's going to make the program way over the top. So
Yeah, that's true. We have a high retention rate from Syndicate. We've talked to members already about if they're going to come back next year. Most of them are, which is very exciting. And that program starts in November, but the application process starts next month. And so that's why, there still is a chance for people who aren't involved yet. If you'd like to get involved in Mastery Group, and then you can sort of see if it makes sense to apply for Syndicate, and we can help you make that decision if it's a good fit or not. We have a new website launching. That's another exciting thing to be celebrated. Oh my gosh, you guys, we've had the same website for 4 years, I think, and nothing really has been updated on it. And so we have dug in, and the new website, by the time this airs, it will be live. So go check it out, velocitywork.com, and see the updates, improvements. And really, it was just an updates to make it clearer for visitors what we do, how we work, easier to navigate, and more info about our team, etc. So we've been really excited about that. We've been working hard behind the scenes, on that. Yes. Yeah, I think those are the main celebrations. And then, of course, the 5th year, which we already said, the 5th year of the podcast, which is crazy. But it felt right to have you on for this podcast that is all about stating our celebrations and what's going on over here. We're growing, our clients are growing. If they don't win, we don't win, right? Everything just feels really good inside and in terms of the client work.
yes, and no, thank you so much for having me in this episode. And we're doing something that we ask our clients to do, which is do celebrations, right? When we work
Yeah.
really, really hard and there's fruit, there's product, there's something good that happens out of all that hard work.
Yeah.
You gotta celebrate. And sometimes we just forget about doing that. And it's a good practice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I mean, really, the modules in and of themselves, it is unbelievable what we've created with those modules. I mean, you've been such a huge part of that, but our whole team has really had to pull together to get
Mhm.
this organized enough that we feel comfortable for clients to go through it or to even offer it. And it is not airy fairy. Like, we are organized. We will only continue to get better. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but I am so shocked, not because I didn't think we could do it, but wow, we did it, Like, it's a big deal to have these adjunctive services to be really useful for clients. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I didn't say this, but Syndicate, one of the things about Syndicate is that they get 2 modules as a part of their membership next year. And that's a game changer. So there's just a lot of cool things. And we're constantly trying to figure out how to serve clients better and to keep producing things that are useful. And Giselle, thank you, of course, for coming on the podcast today, but it's just been such a delight to work with you on that very thing.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure for me as well working with you. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Gosh, well, thank you for tuning in today, guys. And if you want to check out our new website, go to velocitywork.com. You'll see a button. There's opportunities to book a consult there if you'd love to chat with me about if it's a right fit to come into our company. And also, you can text consult, the word consult, to a phone number. We will link it in the show notes, but the phone number is 201-534-8753. And if you text consult to that number, then we'll prompt you to be able to book a time with us, which will be really great. But again, that number's in the show notes. You don't need to remember it at all. And either way, we hope to talk to more of you very soon and have a wonderful week. See you here next Tuesday. Hey, you may not know this, but there's a free guide for a process I teach called Monday Map, Friday Wrap. If you go to velocitywork.com, it's all yours. It's about how to plan your time and honor your plans so that week over week, more work that moves the needle is getting done in less time. Go to velocitywork.com to get your free copy. Thank you for listening to the Law Firm Owner Podcast. If you're ready to get clearer on your vision, data, and mindset, then head over to velocitywork.com where you can plug in to quarterly strategic planning with accountability and coaching in between. This is the work that creates velocity.